All right, everybody, we're going to be going into some finishing work using this 36-inch bullet tip tool. We're actually going to be accessing the damage from a little bit further away, kind of where we started there, and going to have some nice leverage with this tool right here by the headlight, and that's going to give me the distance I need. I'm going to be able to drop my head down so I can actually see through the body line. I'm going to be pushing just like this. Going to be able to move my head back and forth to see the damage. So anyhow, here we go. Going to start off just ironing out all of the little creases that are inside of this dent. So basically what we've done, we've pushed out the bulk of the damage and we've got just little areas that need picked clean. So little by little, I'm going to be picking every single little spot out of the top of this dent to begin with. And one of the reasons why I like a bullet tip in this specific situation, what you could imagine here is the size of these little divots that are in there are actually the size of the tip of the tool. Now, a bullet tip, at this point, it almost leaves a push that matches the natural texture of the orange peel. And that's something that will help us out in the end. If I was using something a little bit too sharp, it would be almost a little bit smaller as far as the push pattern than I'd want to go at this point. So we're going to try to get this thing out nice and clean and just push it in its natural pattern. Now I got the top of it stabilized pretty well. I'm going to go in and just start shaping up the bottom. You can see there, I just took out that little dent there. I'm kind of working my way through the body line here. Very important that you get a body line straight, and it's very important that your head is down to where you can actually view through the body line. You don't want to be looking at the body line from an upper elevated position or a lower elevated position. When you're trying to straighten out and get that body line flat, your eyes need to be looking straight through the body line. And I'd say that is the biggest problem that I see with most of my students is that when they work a body line dent, they're not getting their head level to that line, and usually that results in leaving the dent low. So as you can see here, just going through the entire thing and pushing up little bitty lows. So now we're going right back into the top part of the dent. Kind of got the light cocked at a different angle here. One thing you'll notice is that when you start moving your light back and forth and changing them angles, you're going to be able to see different contours. You'll see the dent shaping in different directions. I always say that the moment that you sit there and you get comfortable and you get steady in one spot, you're wasting time. You need to be constantly cross-checking this thing. Your head needs to be got to be bobbing and weaving, is what I say. So that head needs to be bobbing and weaving, and that light needs to be bobbing and weaving. So now you see here I'm actually breaking out the blending hammer. It's giving me a little bit of distance from the high spots here. And the blending hammer does really good at flattening out a dent when it's at this level. I've got the light pushed back a little bit, but you can see here that I've still got some decent holes that are right there in the middle. So let's bring the fog up and let's do a close fog. So I've got the fog pretty much right on top of the dent here, the reflection, so it's actually closer to the panel, showing me all these little holes that I can push up. So essentially, all these little divots up through the top of the dent, I'm going to place the tip of this bullet tip on there, and I'm going to push them up. Now, when that happens, sometimes the dent begins to rise up all the way around it, and you're going to have to go into an exchange with your hammer and knock down at that point. Sometimes a blending hammer, sometimes a hammer and knockdown. At this point, I want some precise, I want to dial it down just perfect with that hammer and knockdown with this close fog. So essentially, I'm opening up one of them little lows, and I'm going to go in for a final push here with the close fog. And the one thing you can see there, I'm working around it right now, that little low right there in the middle. So right there below my knockdown, I've got that low spot there, and that I need to hit here with this close fog. I'm going to go ahead and scroll my tool in there, and that right there is where I needed to go. So I'm over molding it a little bit. I'm actually pushing it up a little bit high so I can mold out that little low. And as I tap it down, my goal at this point is to tap it and lay it flush. You just got to be careful that you don't recreate your dent or recreate your low. I mean, that's what's important here. So if we take a look back here, you can see exactly how well that shaped up. Just with the process of blending and pushing and tapping and blending and pushing and tapping there, pushing up them little lows, but we still got a little bit of work to do through here. So this right here is the level that we are at now, and you can see that we've got this dent to about 90%. So we're 15 minutes into this damage, and we got it at a 90% removal.